and pull it up and tell me how it looks. We are live. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Looks good?
Yeah, you come over here and look at it more.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going live shortly. Just getting stuff set up, so if you're joining the stream, it's 2:58, so in about 2 minutes we'll be going live. It's ready. The comments should come up on there. You go to your phone real fast. And you can monitor the comments from there. Just use that for the internet. Just go to the home screen. We'll be with you in a second. Let's get everything wired up. Here, we're going to share it out. If you're joining the stream, make sure you share this out. Where are you going? Share it.
Everybody.
What's up, Daniel? And Richard. What's up, Richard? So, we're gonna let our new theme song play out. It's an original. I'll explain it. In 2 minutes, we'll be starting. 2 minutes. Let's get people on. Share this video. Get people joining us. I'm gonna start smoking my cigar. We're gonna get our beers. Cheers. What happened?
Hey man, I'm clean. I'm clean. I know it.
We're quarantined.
I was walking around with a hazmat suit. You can't tell me nothing. I was safe. Andres, tell my cousin I say hello. Tell him I say hello. Tell him I need to see him soon.
Hey, we got people joining. 1 more minute. gentlemen, welcome, boys and girls, to Texas Soccer Live. We are finally here at our anniversary show, ending year 3 and kicking off year 4. As always, I'm Sean Telez, joined by Raul Villarreal. I know Richard's watching from the road, couldn't be with us in person, but I know he's with us here in spirit. If you're just tuning in or watching us on playback, you might notice the tune we were just playing. That is an original Texas Soccer Live theme composed by some of the students at HSPVA. The talented music students composed that for me. And so shout out to them, to Ian, Matthew, Marwan, Matthias, Gio. You guys are awesome. Thanks for doing that for us. So here we are. Wow, it's been a crazy time. It's crazy times, period.
Time flies.
Crazy time in sports. Crazy times for us. So let me give you the rundown as usual we're going to be talking about. Then we'll jump into things. If you're watching this on playback, we're going to jump in talking all things Champions League in Europe, CONCACAF, all that stuff. We're going to talk about Liga MX because we have a lot to talk about. They're the one soccer league that we follow a lot. That's still playing. And then we'll talk about MLS and your Dynamo. We'll also talk about the big leagues in Europe that have all been severely impacted by the coronavirus. So we hope everyone is staying safe and making smart decisions, washing your hands, don't be nasty. So yeah, let's kick into things. If you're joining, feel free to comment. Please share this video out. If you're a longtime viewer with us, welcome back. If you're brand new, welcome. We talk all things soccer on here. We just talk about life as well. So, if y'all, like I said, comment. If you got something you want to comment on. What's awesome about us is that all the sports, there's still soccer being played in the world. Can't say that for every sport right now. So kind of a unique situation to be in. So we'll talk about what's already happened. We'll talk about what's coming forward. So no more me rambling on. I'm going to ask Raul here, man. What do you think about all this? This has been absolutely insane.
I think it's more of just like people. We haven't had something like this really happen in a very long time, so people don't know how to handle it. So people are freaking out, and obviously the leagues, they obviously want to protect like the players, which is understandable because without the players, there really is any sport. There's really no sport, so if something happens to them, then you're gonna have to shut it down for even longer. So I understand the precautions, but I think it's just people are just overreacting and over panicking because they've never seen anything like this, and I think obviously people are blowing it up more than it should be, so it causes it to spread. But it kind of sucks that sports is shut down basically worldwide, not just in the U.S. Now it's worldwide. People can't even go in and out of countries.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I know Liga, is it Serie A? Serie A is shut down. A lot of Liga MX is playing. They're playing games, but no fans getting into the stadiums. And you also have other sports like basketball, hockey, and MLS. MLS is shut down for
at least 30 days.
At least 30 days, but I mean it could be longer. So who knows? CONCACAF Champions League, and like one of the questions that I was thinking about. Okay, so I would expect that Champions League shut down, and if they didn't, how would the Italian leagues still play in Champions League? So it's like you ask questions and you really don't get answers, but I mean, it's just crazy how at the snap of a finger everything got shut down.
Yeah, it really happened quickly. I mean, Thursday started with the NBA, and then everything else followed. MLS, I think it was the next major league right after the NBA, at least here in the United States, to shut down. We know the impact in Europe. I can only imagine in Italy with everything that's going on. So yeah, it's been crazy. So look, we know that we may not be seeing a lot of sports. Hey, Liga MX may eventually shut down. Whatever. We're gonna try and be positive for this next hour. Positive on this show. Talk about the good things that are going on and what's happened, and be hopeful. We're gonna be hopeful that we can get back to watching the game we love. And yeah. So let's jump right in. First thing I want to talk about was all the different Champions Leagues going on. Suspended temporarily, but they were in the middle of a lot of pivotal matches, and I want to get to you because you experienced one of those. Let's talk about CONCACAF Champions first. CONCACAF Champions was on their quarterfinals, final 8 teams, and they were playing their first leg. They did get 3 out of the 4 matches played for leg 1. So let's go to summarize real fast. I want to go to 1 because you were at it. The first one was Montreal versus Olympia. Olympia came out 1-2-1, so kind of the shocker, the one MLS or Liga MX team that's still in play, up one aggregate goal over Montreal. The other kind of, I don't know if it's a surprise when we talk about it, but Club America over Atlanta, 3-0. Very dominant performance at home at Azteca to start off 3-0. And the third one that got played was NYFC of the MLS against your Tigres from Liga MX. Tigres coming out with a 1-0 victory, and you were there live in New York. So how was it? I mean, what an experience to be able to go to see your team in another city.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously. I mean, being able to see Tigres not only in Mexico. I mean, I've seen them in Houston, I've seen them down to San Antonio, but being able to go to another state and being able to see them play. And honestly, that was the last Tigres game that you get to see in person. So I was there, and obviously you get to experience another MLS stadium. It was Red Bull Arena. It's a nice stadium. Props to them for having that nice of a stadium. But honestly, New York City FC, they were a lot stronger. They had a lot more shots on goal. They had a lot more chances to get there. But obviously, Tigres with the 94th minute in extra time goal, a stoppage time. But yeah, they walked away with the win, 1-0, which I'm not going to complain about it. We got it, and it was an away goal. You can't be mad with an away goal, but now we have to wait. But I think Tigres looked strong. They had a few shots on goal. They had a few chances, but obviously New York City FC, they were there, and they knew who they were going up against. Right. So they basically went all out. But it was overall a nice experience. Tigres. It was mainly 80% Tigres, and the rest was New York City fans. So
if you followed our post, you would have seen Raul and all his Libres y Locos friends out there with the hazmat suits and everything, having fun in Times Square and at the stadium. So that was cool that got to happen. The one matchup that didn't happen was LAFC versus Cruz Azul. They got hit by the postponement. They were supposed to play Thursday, but obviously everything was postponed. So LAFC and Cruz Azul didn't play. Remember LAFC being the kind of not a surprise, but impressive coming back against Leon and win. So they'll have to wait on that. Any thoughts on Club America just really dominating Atlanta? I mean, was this a result of is Club America that good right now and playing on cylinders, or is it that Atlanta's hurting? Because I think it hurts them big time not having Joseph Martinez in their lineup.
I think it was more of like America really wants to beat Atlanta after losing that Supercopa final, I believe. No, it was Campeón de Campeones final.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were like, all right, we lost these guys and it was embarrassing. We need to beat them and we need to get rid of them. Because if we lose to them again, what does that make us look like? But I think it was just more of like a revenge type of thing for them. Although it does hurt Atlanta, but I feel like America's like, okay, like, we need to do something because it looks bad. Like, we're supposed to be the biggest team in Mexico and we lose to a team in the MLS. It's like, really? But I think it was just more like a retaliation type of thing. Like, all right, we need to go in stronger.
I do think Atlanta is hurting, though. I mean, it's not 100%. I agree with you. I think Club America is a very good team. I do think Atlanta is hurting right now without Joseph Martinez figuring it out. Hey, I guess if you want to put a bright side on this for sports, for soccer at least, and we'll get to it when I talk about the Dynamo in a second, teams have 30 days to get healthy. I mean, there are some teams already coming into the season, and in the middle of the season where Liga MX other places, they're still playing, players to get healthy. We'll talk about the Dynamo. Some guys already had surgeries that they needed to really have, some minor surgeries. One last thing I'll talk about with CONCACAF Champions, we move on. I was very impressed with Olympia from Honduras coming out and beating Montreal 2-1. Montreal has been pretty hot in the tournament so far. And, hey, this is a tournament that is meant to favor Liga MX and MLS. It's impressive to see a team not from the United States or Mexico doing it. So, hey, I'm cheering for them. I guess you'll be cheering for them until they play y'all. But I think that's impressive, that. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
I was kind of expected already. I mean, that's what I seen going into the game. I paid attention to it, but at the same time, I was like, this is the result I expected. So I wasn't really surprised by it.
Yeah. Well, guys, like I said, like everything else is on postponement. Leg 2 is supposed to be played next week. That ain't going to happen. So we'll update you as soon as we start getting news from CONCACAF as to how they can play those games, if they're going to play those games. Everything's going to be stacked up now. It's it's depressing right now to have soccer, but part of me tells me it's about to be an exciting summer because if we can get past this, a lot of things are going to get rescheduled.
Yeah.
And May, June, and July could be crazy months, jam-packed with soccer on top of soccer. That goes for all sports.
It's
We gotta see
basically
what
going to mess up the whole schedule of when
Yeah.
soccer was supposed to be
Yeah.
played. So we might end up with some soccer in the summer. Something might get canceled. I mean, who knows? But if you were worried about not having soccer in the summer, you might have some soccer in the summer now.
Well, you noticed UEFA, and we'll get to them. We're going to the next UEFA Champions, but the UEFA Championship was supposed to be this summer.
Yep.
They've already moved it to 2021, so all the European national teams will be playing their championship the year before, actually the summer right before the World Cup, instead of playing it this summer. So that's one thing that's already been moved. Speaking of Europe, let's switch gears. UEFA Champions, round of 16, leg 2. So we're now eliminating people. We are getting to the quarterfinals. It was leg 2. We were able to play half of it. So we had 4 out of the 8 matches go down. I'm going to run through them and then kind of turn over to Raul for any surprises there. Number 1 was Leipzig from Bundesliga beating Tottenham 3-0, just slapping them around. Leipzig is on to the final 8. The battle of the underdogs, Valencia versus Atalanta. Atalanta from Serie A had beat them up the first game. Hats off to Valencia. They came out with 3 goals, but Atalanta continues their scoring this fest, beating them 4-3 to advance on an aggregate of 8-4. 8 goals in 2 games from Atalanta, so they advance. PSG comes from behind. Dortmund had them down. PSG comes back 2-0 to advance 3-2. So PSG is on to the Champions League quarterfinals. And then finally, the biggest one, I think the biggest shock, not shocker, but hey, this is big news. Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid. We talked about in the last episode, Atletico Madrid had a 1-0 after leg 1. They stick it to them and win 3-2. Liverpool cannot come back. Your reigning UEFA Champions League champions are knocked out. Atletico Madrid, who's been a perennial kind of third place type of team, always finally gets to move on. They're very impressive being the champions. Now, before we talk about those games, the games not played. Man City versus Real Madrid did not happen. Man City has a 2-1 aggregate. Juventus and Lyon did not play. Lyon's up 1-0 in that. Barcelona and Napoli, their 1-1 tie. They did not get to play. And Bayern versus Chelsea. Bayern with a 3-0 aggregate after leg 1 did not get to play. Once again, one of those games going to be played, we don't know. Let's talk about the games that did happen. Let's start off in reverse. The champions out, Liverpool. Thoughts on Liverpool not being able to overcome the Atletico Madrid boys?
It's surprising, but at the same time, the streak that they've been having, I mean, your streak can only last so long.
Sure.
And also, it's a different tournament. Obviously, if you're dominating the league, that's something different. But once you go into Champions is a different world when it comes to soccer. The teams that you sleep on are always the teams that always come out and take over.
Yep.
So I expected more from them, but I'm not surprised because eventually that streak had to die. And Liverpool, as good as they look, I didn't see them being like Real Madrid or Barcelona where they go and win 5, 6 in a row. No.
Right.
They're a strong team, but to get to that level, it's different.
They're also struggling they were struggling. Premier League, they've had their issues. It's kind of questionable. I mean, like you said, streaks only last so long. You know, you get run into trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste too much time on Leipzig and Tottenham because Tottenham just got slapped around.
Tottenham is not the same Tottenham that we've seen a couple of years before, which is fine because Leipzig obviously was a team that was growing into being something stronger. So, like that, I'm not surprised by that. That team was growing into being something big, and they've gotten to that point. So,
Yeah.
they did good in line.
What about the battle of the underdogs? Atalanta, are you buying or selling on these guys? These guys are the real deal. I mean, they're scoring like crazy. We'll run down Serie A, but they're scoring like crazy there too. I mean, is it just because they ran up against another underdog in Valencia, or are these guys actually legit?
I've never truly believed in Valencia, so I think it was just, I think if they advance or once they advance, yeah, they're gonna get put against a team that's like really big, and then they're gonna get slapped around.
I'm going to disagree a little bit on that. I kind of see Atalanta. I see the potential to be a Leicester City from a few years ago. I think they have the potential for that. I know we disagree on that, but I like Atalanta a lot. And hell, what a story this would be, being one of the Serie A teams without Juventus. with all this crap that Italy is going through right now, if they were to come back and Atalanta, I mean, their fans were nuts when they made it, you know, to the elimination rounds. Hey, I'm all in on Atalanta. Those guys are playing their butts off, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do. I agree with you. They haven't had the biggest challenge yet, and these are all good teams advancing. Last one I want to hit on, obviously, is PSG and Dortmund. What is the deal? I mean, PSG is PSG. We get it. We know who they are. But, God, what other heartbreaker. If you're a Dortmund fan, I know there's some hardcore Dortmund fans out there who just always come up short. Whether it's in Bundesliga against Bayern Munich or now, once again, champions, you had them. You had PSG pinned down, and you let it go.
Yeah, but the thing about PSG and Dortmund, like Dortmund, they're one of those teams to where if they can kill you, they'll kill you. But they're also the same team to where they'll walk away with what they can get. So if I can walk away with 1 goal, I'm fine. No, you need to walk away with 2 or 3, but they're satisfied with the bare minimum. That's the thing about Dortmund. Yeah. So Dortmund's like, I feel like for them, the champions, like, we're going to get eliminated every year, so what's the point? And even when they get close, it's like, once we lose, it's whatever. Like, no.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're, like, in the right place, and honestly, their management, I think they should fix it, but I mean, PSG being PSG, although PSG still hasn't caught my attention like that, but I mean, I'm not surprised.
I will say this: they did play a quality opponent, but like I said, out of what I've seen so far, I think we have some good teams. Atalanta could be a story. Atletico Madrid for the first time, you know, knocking off some legit teams to get here. PSG, I think, saw something to prove, but Leipzig, the newcomer, exciting first half to that, to the end of that the half of the quarterfinal set. Like I said, we'll find out on the rest once we schedule stuff. Man City, Real Madrid, 2-1. Like I said, Juventus, Lyon up 1-0. Barcelona, Napoli, and Bayern and Chelsea. So we'll find out once we get the rest of those matches played what happens. So let's shift. What's that?
Hey, Josue Soto. Yes, soccer is canceled due to the coronavirus. A lot of like leagues and stuff, teams are taking precaution. They don't want it to spread in between the fans or the players. So yes, it is canceled due to the coronavirus as of now.
As of yesterday, there was a list of a few leagues. There are less than 10 leagues, national leagues in the entire world that were still playing. And of those 10, I think pretty much all of them now as of today, including Liga MX, which is the one that was still playing games with fans as of yesterday. The Friday night matches last night were played with fans. But as of today, they're playing closed door, no fans, but they're still being played and they're still being televised. Liga MX is probably the biggest league still playing, so Mexican league, both men and women. And then some other minor leagues countries. Turkey was still playing, ironically, I saw their national league. Australia, some other, South Africa, some other random small leagues. But the only one of significance is Liga MX, and they are still playing, but with closed doors. All other leagues, I don't care the name of the country, they have completely postponed. No closed. The thought was, could they be closed door? But the problem that developed, the NBA highlighted this with Rudy Gobert and what happened with Utah Jazz, Oklahoma City, that set this all into motion, was that players were getting infected. And players, you're talking about a contact sport. I mean, you're going to be within touch of each other. And so the second that happens, now I'm praying and hoping that we don't get any positive tests with Liga MX players, but I'm telling you right now, the second there's a positive diagnosis of
if one player gets it, the whole thing's getting shut down.
They'll shut down. I think Liga MX right now is going off the bat that right now there's not as many confirmed cases in Mexico, but that's confirmed cases, right? We don't know. So I think we'll play the rest of this week. It's going to be week by week. Are the next week matches going to happen? I don't know.
We'll find out by like Wednesday, depending on how this weekend goes. We're either gonna go back to normal, all right, we can have fans in, or it's gonna be like, all right, another week where it's closed off, or we're just gonna have to postpone it until like further notice. So
right.
But yeah, because of coronavirus, we are shut down as of now with soccer. But guess who's not shut down? Take Soccer Live.
Let's we'll say one more thing on a Champions League note. Copa Libertadores, which is played in South America, their champion league, they've also suspended. They started initial play, and that's also shut down. Let's shift gears to the country that is still playing, and that's Mexico. We got the league to talk about. We got Copa MX. I have not, so I'm going to give you the standings here. I've not updated for Friday's games. This is as of after week 9 of 18, so halfway through the season, or 17 rather, so halfway mark of the season. Cruz Azul's on top with 19 points. Leon with 18, number 2. Number 3, Club America with 17. Number 4, Pumas with 15. Number 5, Chivas with 15. 6, Juarez with 14. 7, Querétaro with 14. Number 8, Pachuca with 14. And then you have the rest of the league, including my lowly Monterrey Rayados, the reigning champions, sitting there with 4 points in last place. Now, there were a couple games that went down already. So as of last night, Monarcas came out 4-0 over Querétaro. So you see Monarcas has moved up. They'll be moving up in the standings, but basically tied with Querétaro. Tijuana won 3-2 over Pachuca. So these are two teams that were lower down. Tonight you have a couple games going on. You have Atletico San Luis against Puebla. You have Tigres versus Juarez. You have León versus Pumas. And you have Chivas versus Monterrey. So 4 matches going on, being played closed door tonight. If you're watching TV, there are 2 being televised in the U.S. Tigres versus Juarez is on ESPN Deportes, and on Telemundo, I believe, is going to be León versus Pumas, both at 9 o'clock tonight, or 8 o'clock. So those are going on. So I kind of don't know where to start here. Well, let's do this. Let's start at the top, and let's talk about the top 3. And you tell me, out of these 3, who's the most legit and who's the biggest fake? Cruz Azul with 19 points, León with 18, Club America with 17. Who's a legit contender and who is going to fall out of the top 3?
Top 3, I could see America falling. Cruz Azul is always going to fall because they're in first place, and if they stay in first place is always the first team to fall. León, I can see them making it.
León has a lot more to play for now since they were knocked out of CONCACAF champions. Are you surprised by Chivas? Chivas all of a sudden in 5th place with 15 points, a solid start to the season. Will Chivas keep it up?
I'm never sold on them, but it's kind of funny if you look at it. 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, those are the 4 big teams in Mexico.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these 4 teams are up there. They're basically holding down the top half of the playoffs, which should be interesting. But Pumas and Chivas, I can see them dropping down. One will make it, one will not.
How about
Cruz Azul will make it?
How about, because I know you have some thoughts on them. How about Pumas sitting there at fourth place? Any thoughts on that?
Pumas is full of shit. Pumas is full of shit. They're full of shit every year. I'm never sold on them. They don't sell anything good. Like, they don't prove it on the field. I mean, yeah, they have a good start, but it doesn't matter. I guarantee you, 3 of those 4 teams right there, they're gonna get knocked out right away. Yeah, they do good during the regular season, but once it comes to playoffs, choke artists. I've seen it.
Interesting matchup tonight. You have Pumas versus León. So 2 versus 4. A match to watch tonight. And like I said, this is available if you just have regular cable. It's on Telemundo, I believe. That matchup against 2 and 4, I think is going to be interesting between Pumas and León. If Pumas is for real, show it tonight against León. Let's go shift gears. We always like to talk about our teams. You saw your Tigres win 1-0 in CONCACAF Champions. They're currently sitting in 12th with 11 points, tied with 3 other teams, the Necaxa, Puebla, and Monarcas. What are your thoughts on Tigres now halfway through the season?
My thing is, if they don't start winning games now, that means they're gonna end up fighting for a spot for like the 8th or 7th place. So if they start like winning games now, like they get on a roll, they win like 3 in a row, 4 in a row, and okay, we're gonna secure a spot. But right now, it's more of us like we gotta win games, but we have to kind of depend on teams to lose games.
Yeah.
But I think once we get in a row and we're moving on, I think we should be good. But that's the thing. I think they should have started a long time. We should be in 4th or 5th right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're focused on something else, but
And Gignac, he's the leading goal scorer, 19 goals already after 9 games. Gignac's 19 goals in 9 games. So impressive as the goal leader in Liga MX. So interesting to see there. Before I get to my lowly Rayados, because they're not even in contention, I'm not going to talk about them with that. But out of that lower group, Who out of your mind, if you look at like San Luis, Necaxa, Tigres, Puebla, Monarcas, let's take Tigres out. Puebla, Monarcas, Toluca, the ones who are double digits who are kind of hanging around. Who has the biggest potential to pull off a Monterrey-like comeback like last year? Monterrey was sitting around in 13th, 14th, made the streak, like you said. You put string together 4 or 5 good games, squeak in there at 8th place. Who do you think could squeak in there and actually do something? Puebla?
Yeah, as much as like of a joke that they are, I actually see Puebla like actually making it up until like 8th or 7th. Because as much as like I talk shit about Puebla a lot because they're a joke, but Puebla has looked strong this season. Even though they're in 14th place, I mean they still go out and play. They score goals. I mean they have 11 points.
Yeah. My pick's gonna be Monarcas. I mean, you saw them started with the win last night, and they're back up there. That 14th point, they're around 8th or 9th place right now. I think they're a team that always is dangerous towards the end.
Well, I mean, you also have Querétaro and Atlético San Luis. I mean, those teams you can't really sleep on those at all.
I'm glad you said Atlético San Luis. How about Atlético San Luis and then their partners, like almost they came in together. Juárez, 6th place. The two new teams playing their butts off. Juárez is very impressive, and San Luis, for that matter.
They basically come in and dominated the league. I mean, same with Necaxa, Atlético San Luis, and Juárez. They basically came in and they're like, all right, we're not going to be like Veracruz. We're not going to stick at the bottom. We're basically going to play. And those 3 teams, they've made it into playoffs. They've actually done something. They've stuck around. They've been close. So, I mean, it's kind of surprising to see 3 teams like that show up and actually do something.
The last team I'll talk about is because they're a disappointment, but they're my team. And that's Monterrey. That's Rayados. 4 points after 9 games. 4 points after 9 games. The reigning champions playing like absolute crap. They haven't won a match. Those 4 points are off of 4 ties. They had 5 losses. And we'll use them as a transition because obviously they are absolutely dead in the water for Liga MX. We get that now. So, Rayados fans, I feel you. I'm sorry. We're dead in the water, Liga MX. But the other tournament going on is Copa MX. And Copa MX had an interesting result the other day. Leg 1, Tijuana versus Toluca. Tijuana won 3-0. And leg 2, Toluca tried to come back, but Tijuana beat them 4-3. So an aggregate of 7-3. Tijuana moved on to the Copa MX final to be played in April. Leg 1, Juárez versus Monterrey. Juárez won 2-0. Leg 2, they came back with the away goals. It was home for Juárez, 2-0. Monterrey with the away goals. It was a 2-2 game, went to penalties, and Monterrey won 6-5 on penalties. Meaning, Rayados fans, there's something to grasp onto, and that is you're playing in the Copa MX final against Tijuana. Your thoughts, okay, rivalry aside, what the hell is happening with my Rayados? You tell me.
I think it was, well, for me, it's like you kind of look back at it, like rivalry aside, if you look back at it, it's like, okay, if you were as strong as you were in that final, as you say you were, what is going on? Because normally you would bounce back. You would bounce back after winning the final. Okay, we won the final. All right, we're going to come back, and we're going to try and go for like 2 in a row. But it's like, like they can't beat anybody. I don't know if it's.
Blame Chivas tonight.
I don't know. They're going to lose.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know if it's the players. I don't know if it's the coaching again. I don't know what it is. Like, these guys just can't seem to get it together. And when they're winning, they always give it up and they end up tying or losing in the last, like, few minutes or, like, the last 10 minutes. It's like, what's going on?
What's the name, man, is we are wasting the talent that is known as Funes Mori. Funes Mori has 15 goals on the season. He's tied for 3rd. And it's wasted.
I'm surprised he hasn't left. Or
I know.
Well, I'd actually say, all right, after having this season, which is like, you're either going to end up second to last or like the last.
Yeah.
If they end up being super bad, I could actually see Funes Mori being like, all right, I might end up leaving because this is just like, what am I doing here? What am I actually doing here? I'm scoring goals, but it doesn't matter if I'm scoring goals. I'm not getting titles. I'm not doing anything. It looks bad.
Yeah. Jesus, I'm with you. Let's get our first W tonight against Chivas. That would be a statement win. But hell, I mean, Jesus, I'm with you on those Dallas, but we're dead. My focus, however, is Copa MX. Can they now advance to the final? They survived Juarez, who is playing good, we admit it. They're going to play Tijuana. It's scheduled to take place leg 1 on April 8th, and then leg 2 April 15th. What chance do you give this team, considering that they've been knocked out? I mean, Liga MX. Do you think this team going all in can pull off a Copa MX title against Tijuana? And Tijuana, that's the thing. You might say no, but give me the argument why. Because Monterrey is in 18th place. Guess who's only in 16th place? Tijuana. So tell me why Tijuana is going to do something.
But that's the thing. I mean, they're both teams being at the bottom. They're basically out. Both teams have to basically. All right, if they played this weekend, or they're going to play this weekend, don't play next week. Don't play at the rest of the season. Don't play your star players.
No.
You have to go all in for this because you have nothing else to win.
Right.
You have nothing else to win, so I think it's going to be a toss-up for like both teams. Whoever wants it the most, because the Rayados wants it the most. They're obviously going to go out with everything.
Hey guys,
but Tijuana also.
I mean, guys. I think that shows you why we love Liga MX so much, because I mean, two of the worst teams in the league right now are playing for a Copa MX tournament title. So that tells you how you cannot predict Mexican soccer. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much you believe. I don't care what sort of bad juju you send towards them and curse them. It is just so damn unpredictable. So, yeah, we're going to see what happens with that. So, guys, like I said, we're going to move on here from Liga MX, but just remember, Mexican soccer is still being played. They're still going. It's closed stadium, but they're still playing. So excited to see what happens tonight. You got 4 good matches, a couple storylines to follow with that. With Copa MX, you have Monterrey and Tijuana scheduled for the 8th, but we'll see what happens there. Well, let's shift gears. We like to do a rapid run through here. Obviously, no leagues in Europe are playing right now. They're postponed. But a lot of them are getting to that last third or quarter of their season. This is an awkward time, right, to put everything on hold, because you're in top season form. It's not like the MLS we'll talk about in a second. MLS only played 2 games. You're not in season form yet. But you're in season form. You are playing your butts off. Now, some of these leagues are not nowhere close. So let's look at, for example, Premier League. Liverpool still sits with an 82-point standing. Man City's in second with 57 points, that far behind. Leicester City in third with 53. Chelsea in fourth with 48. Man U with 45 in fifth. And in sixth place, the Wolves are there with 43. Let's not talk about Premier League. If you like Premier League, tell me what miracle is going to happen for something happening. Liverpool's got it. Liverpool's going to get another league title, whatever they start playing. They have a plus 45 goal differential. Plus 45 after 29 games. Insane. Another league that's nowhere close, and we're not going to talk much about, France has been put on hold. PSG with 68. Marseille with 56. Number 2, Reims 50. Lille, and so on. PSG's going to get another league title. Let's talk about the 3 leagues that are actually competitive and were competitive until this. Let's start with La Liga. Barcelona, 58 points, first place. Real Madrid, number 2, with 56 points. Number 3, Sevilla, drops off to 47. Real Sociedad, 46. Getafe, 46. Athletic Madrid, 45. The real challenge there is another classic, Barcelona, Real Madrid, race to the finish. 2 points separating them. Can Barca, whenever soccer resumes, is Barca going to hold on and win another league title?
If anything, that this rest break might end up giving them like the help that they need.
Yeah.
But the same thing for Real Madrid. I mean, they probably both need a rest because they were both playing in like 2 tournaments. So this rest might wake up like 2 beasts that have been needing rest, and it might turn into like that final last game. It might turn into that last game. Who's going to take it? But I'm going to say Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Barca on that. Let's look at 2 other leagues, though, in Europe that are really close. Bundesliga is sitting there with Bayern Munich at 55 points, Dortmund 51 and 2, Leipzig with 50, only 1 point behind that. And then you have Bayern, Mönchengladbach, which I like to say all the time, and Schalke. So
Momentary pause for this lady selling ice cream during this midwinter spring break.
Yeah. If you hear an ice cream truck, it's because they're selling ice cream to all the quarantine people here. All right.
Now we're back.
Now we're back. Now that Dortmund's out, any hope for Dortmund fans to make a run when they resume play and maybe catch Bayern Munich?
I think this is all they have to catch up to because the Champions League's out the window. So they probably need rest also. But I mean, not Bayern. Dortmund is just like, do I really believe in you? I want to believe in you, but I can't. And I'm not gonna say like I have faith in them because I don't. Because it's just one of those teams where it's like you have hope, and then why have hope? Because they're just gonna let you down.
One of the most disappointing things for me is seeing Serie A in Italy is disbanded right now because we had another classic scoring fest and a race to the finish. Last year it was Napoli going up there against Juventus. This year Juventus first place 63 points, but Lazio was 62 points right behind them. Inter Milan 54. And Atalanta 48, Roma 45, Napoli 39. Kind of sad to see that, but is there any reason to doubt Juventus from Roma?
Well, I mean, this break might slow them down, to be honest. Because, I mean, obviously, if you're putting a big break in between these teams, and these teams are used to playing like every week or every weekend, it's just like if you put a halt to that, it's just like, man, you're gonna slow down the rhythm. Some of these guys aren't gonna be like the way that they were playing before. Maybe they were having like a game streak, or maybe they were on a roll. You're stopping that, you're slowing it down, and then for them to come back out, it's like, I'm not gonna say the chemistry's gonna be lost. It's still gonna be there, but they're probably not gonna play the same, which obviously is gonna hurt them.
I think that's the biggest question. I mean, I think about the break with this. For some teams, this is awesome, right? Get healthy, get good. For other teams, they're pissed off because they're on a roll. I mean, this is so crazy. And for you, those of you watching maybe are not big soccer fans, this is huge for every sport. I mean, think about it. I mean, the NBA, for crying out loud, was going into the final, basically, month of their season. They played to the first week of April, really, for the playoffs start. Baseball.
Hell, baseball hasn't even started and they already postponed it. It's like...
But see, that's my thing, though. I'm not even worried about, like leagues like that, okay, you can postpone it, or like golf, the Masters are going to maybe play at another point.
Oh, there's hockey, too.
And hockey in the middle of their stuff. But for the leagues that was like, you're on the eve of play, like these teams, everything else, you were 3 to 4 weeks away from playoffs. This is huge for what it might do for the system. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if any sports fans out there, I mean, it's crazy.
It's going to scramble everything up. You're going to have teams.
You're restarting the season.
They're going to get rested up. Basically, the teams that did bad at the beginning might be the teams that come back and do something big and they change it all.
Or, just like we see the first couple weeks of most seasons, most teams are rusty because they're getting back in top form. The first couple weeks we finally do come back, whether it's in April or May or hell, whenever, they're going to be rusty. And people are going to get back into season form or shape. What these guys do on their off time now is going to be critical. Because a lot of these teams, it's hard to have practices, what they're doing, how it's happening. So, very crazy to think about it. This is for all sports, but especially soccer. A soccer that is built on, you go into the season, right, with a plan, kind of, okay, Liga MX, I have 17 weeks, and how you're building up. For that to be disrupted in the middle of it, that's crazy. You know, you have to reassess. So people are scrambling right now figuring, okay, how are we going to get back into things? How are we going to keep our guys in shape? What's going on? So, pretty crazy with that. All right, let's move into our last topic, and that is the MLS and your Houston Dynamo. I'm going to pause real fast so if we get that. A little shout out for us, Texas Soccer Live. Shout out to Richard. Hopefully he's still watching. Richard is amazing because Richard has gotten, I'm going to say Richard gets all the credit, has gotten Texas Soccer Live, and I'm pointing at my shirt here because we have new Texas Soccer Live shirts for year 4. Texas Soccer Live is now a recognized media entity with your Houston Dynamo. So Raul and I, and Richard when he's back in town, we have our press passes. We will be covering the games live and in person, getting some player interviews, going to press conferences. So we're excited about that to finally get recognized like that. It's really exciting, really cool. So we're going to be doing that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool. I mean, any thoughts on that? I mean, we're getting recognized.
I mean, obviously, I mean, when we started this off, I mean, we were just like basically a few people just kicking back, talking about soccer and hanging out. And to build it up to something like this, to where we're recognized, we get to get on the field, we get to cover live games, we get to get interviews and stuff like that. You obviously, you take steps and you're moving up. And I mean, obviously, we're hoping for bigger things to come from this. But I mean, we reached a goal that we didn't really have in mind. I
Right,
mean,
right.
it's like something we thought it was a hobby, and I mean, we're not gonna say we're gonna turn it into a career or nothing, but I mean, a hobby that turned bigger into just hanging out every other weekend or so and having fun. I mean, it's good. I mean, we get to cover something that we love covering.
And so we've stepped up our game, guys, to try and match that. I mean, we want to respect the fact that we're blessed to have that opportunity. When the MLS goes back, we get to cover MLS live and get to be at the stadium and everything as press. So we stepped up our, presence online. We're not just on Facebook now. Richard Rawl and I are very active on the Twitter. So on Twitter page, so on Tech Soccer Live. Everything's at Tech Soccer Live. So follow us on Twitter, on YouTube. This episode and all the episodes, Richard does a great job with the graphics you'll see on there and getting us uploaded on there. And then we're always here on Facebook where it's starting. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube are the big three for us, all at Tech Soccer Live. Quick plug, if you're coming out later this afternoon, the show's going to end. We got a lot of friends, family coming out here to celebrate with us. We got the crawfish on deck. We're drinking cold beer already, and we're going to be having a crawfish boil as we did last year. All those that come out are going to get our new Texas Soccer Live koozies, so that we're already drinking out of. So we're excited about that. And, little things like that make us, it's kind of cool. So,
Basically, put the word out.
Put the word out. So please follow us. And like I said, from day one, we've said this, right? We want y'all to interact with us. And so the more comments, we're not about shares and likes. It's not about that. It's about y'all commenting, asking us questions, asking us input, debating with us. I want you to disagree. If I say your team sucks, then call me out and tell me why that your team doesn't suck. And so we want y'all to interact and use any of those platforms to interact with us, please. We really enjoy that. That's why we did this. It's a hobby. We like talking about soccer, playing it, coaching it. That's what we do.
Also, me being part of like a big fan group, Mexico and here. Also, I'm into. I mean, I don't condone it, but I'm also out doing like very, like, hooligan ultra type things. Like, okay, like I'm out putting stickers on like stop signs and stuff. So it doesn't matter where you are, from LA to New York to Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, wherever you are. I slap stickers around. So if you're around somewhere and you find our sticker, take a picture of it and tag us on Facebook. And tag us on Facebook or Twitter. Put it out there. We have our basically our social media for Tech Soccer Live at the bottom. But I recently did. I put one out on the Brooklyn Bridge. So if you're out on the Brooklyn Bridge, you ever go to New York, you'll see a sticker out there. Take a picture of it and say like, "Hey, Tech Soccer Live, I seen your sticker out here." So I'm gonna be around Houston slapping stickers around. I mean, that's what I do.
If you go to NYCFC Stadium, you'll see Texas Soccer Live on one of the seats.
Yeah, I mean, section 131, 132. So, I mean, you'll find a sticker there. So, if you're there, take a picture of it, tag us, let us know that, like, hey, I'm going to follow you and I see your page. So, I mean, just be on the lookout for that stuff, too. I mean, I'm more of the guy that's, like, being part of a big fan group. I'm the one that's going to put out the word, like, all right, I'm going to slap stickers here, here, and here.
And we also want to hear that, too. If you're part of other fan groups, if you're part of other teams, y'all are doing stuff, like, we like that sort of culture. We like the soccer culture, the fan culture, the group culture. So if you guys are doing stuff, you're repping your team, you're out and about, like, take a picture of it, tagging it us. We want to see it. We want to shout you out, like, because I think that's cool. We're all about. I'm all about repping the Dynamo. He's with and Monterrey. He's about repping Tigres. I mean, like, we want to see that stuff. So it's really cool. So we don't have too much. If you watched on my page, I've done an update I did for MLS this year for the last 2 weeks. But I just want to hit on a little bit of Dynamo stuff. Talk about the thoughts after the season started. Well. Dynamo are in a familiar place. Last place, and it's pathetic. Game one, Okay, I'll give it to you. 1-1 tie, LA Galaxy. Chicharito, all the hype and all that bull crap. 1-1, okay, whatever. Game 2, absolutely annihilated by Sporting KC. You're making Polito, who's their big signing, look like a god. And I talked about this on my update, half glass full, half glass empty. I think, but we're both the bus stand, half glass empty. Same old crap. Here we are on the road, over 2 years later, and you see it in the third season in a row, you guys can't do crap on the road.
But if you think about it, all right, we did shitty on the road. I mean, we got the tie, yes, and that was an important tie because we could have got blown out, but we got the tie, and then we go on the road and we lose, which is fine. But this pause could actually wake this team up and give them something to like, all right, we played 2 games. We're gonna fix these problems that we have. We're gonna move some people around, and I actually believe maybe this Dynamo team might come out after this break, and they're gonna kick the door.
I'm with you.
Like, hey, I'm here.
I'm hoping the Dynamo, because the one thing is, Kiki Strunia, a key defender on the back line, went over orthoscopic surgery. He needed it on his knee to take care of some stuff. He's had that. He's getting to recover. Guys getting rest. They're after 2 games, the Dynamo were already beat up again. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do. But I'm with you. I like to be half glass full. That optimistic.
I think it's just more of like trying to find the pieces that fit in certain places. Which
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they didn't get to do that. That's the thing is, it's a new system, right? We knew with Talbot Ramos it was going to be 4, 5, 6 weeks before we actually saw what the Dynamo really were. But they just got cut right there after 2 weeks. And so it'd be interesting to see how he responds and what we do with that.
so I mean, it's fine. I understand. Like, all right, you have a bad start. It's only 2 games. Now you get a break, sadly. But I mean, the break could actually benefit you, and you lose 2 games, but you could probably turn around and win 6 games in a row. I mean, you never know.
So a couple things with the Dynamo, obviously all the games, like all MLS games, are put on hold. That includes a March 27th match, friendly against Cruz Azul. That's been postponed till we set another date. But if you look around the league, there are only 4 teams. There are 4 teams that are perfect. 2 games, 6 points. Sporting KC, you're welcome. Minnesota and Colorado in the West. And then over in the East, the only team you got the Red Bulls, and you have Atlanta with 6 points. So interesting with there. Hey, Dynamo fans, you're number 12. You're dead last in the West. But there are 2 teams worse than you. FC Cincinnati has 0 points, and the new team, Inter Miami, has 0 points. So we're only 3rd from last out of 24 teams, if you want to be positive. But that's about all we got to cheer for right now. So a lot to think about. Very interesting with the MLS versus other leagues, right? You're only 2 weeks in. This was kind of a weird break all of a sudden you're going to get. It'll be interesting to see what they can do coming out of that. Any other thoughts on the MLS? Because these guys, we just barely got started. But any thoughts on any of these teams so far?
Not really. I mean, obviously, Sporting KC. The MLS overall has made they've brought a lot of Mexican players, and they're going to keep bringing more Mexican players.
I'm glad you just said that, because those other guys, the guys minus who's the one Mexican player who hasn't done shit? Chicharito. You know who's been amazing? Alan Polito. Zelarayan. Who else? We're talking other guys. Heck, even the one goal Inter Miami got was from Pizarro. Chicharito hasn't done nothing.
He doesn't feel well in MLS. He thought he was going to come to the MLS. It's going to be like Europe. It's not like Europe, man. You don't have the same talent distributing the ball. You can't do that, and that's why you're getting mad. The thing with Zlatan is Zlatan came over and he basically took over. He did it on his own. You're waiting for somebody to do it for you. That's why I do not like you. You're a player that depends on people. Zlatan came in and he was like, I run this, so I'm here to take over.
Well, and guess what? And guess where the LA Galaxy sit in the standings? 2 spots from us in 10, with only 1 point, the tie from us. They lost second game. The only reason they're ahead of us is because they have a -1 goal differential. We got slapped around by Sporting KC with a -4. So interesting thing about that. So, guys, that's what's going on right now. We appreciate you tuning in. A couple things before we close out for today. Two big things. Number one, we want you to, once again, I'm going to plug one more time. Share, like, and most importantly, interact with us. Tag us, send us stuff, debate with us when we post stuff. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all at Texas Soccer Live. Interact with us, let us know what's going on. Everything, anything, we want to debate with y'all. The other thing, once leagues resume, we've been trying to bring you more content that's more focused. I am going to be doing a weekly update on the MLS. I did 2 already. Those have been posted on YouTube and on the page here. Richard has done a great job. You've seen some of his specials with women's soccer. A lot of announcements with the NWSL and Liga MX Femenil and the women's league. So the women's game is if that's something you're interested in, Richard's a good person to follow with that and updates on. And once we get closer to more playoff time, Raul's going to be coming at you with some more Liga MX specials just on that, some updates. Both Richard and Raul will try and do some stuff in Spanish this we want. We always want to say about our fans who prefer stuff in Spanish, we want to bring you some Spanish language content.
Also, one thing I'm going to try and bring to you guys, because I follow a lot of groups and I see a lot of posts and I know a lot of people that are part of different groups. Hooligan fan group, like ultra type stuff, I'm going to start sharing that in case you guys are like interested in it, like documentaries, short videos, posts, like stuff like that, because I want you guys to see the way that I see it and like in my mind and the way I see it in my eyes. Like when I travel somewhere, I see a fan group here, here, and here. It's all basically, we are basically the heart of the soccer team. Without like the soccer team and no fans, it's basically dead. It's boring.
Right, exactly.
So I'm gonna be bringing that to you guys. So stay like watch out for the page and see if I like whenever I post, because it says who posts one thing on Facebook and stuff like that. But also on Facebook, I'm gonna be sharing. On Twitter, I'm gonna be sharing some things.
Cool. Well, definitely, guys. A couple of big things before we sign off. One last thing. Like I said, we're about to get the party started. We're gonna have a good time tonight. We've been doing this for 3 years now. If you go back to episode 1, you'll see me and Raul at a kitchen table with a speaker in front of us and a couple of jerseys in the back. And now we're here doing this. So we're still small time. We get that. We have a fun time doing this. It's a fun thing that we do. So we hope that you continue to join us in year 4. Invite your friends in year 4. We're excited to see what happens. We know it's a crazy time right now, but you know what? We're going to get over this. The country, the world's going to get over this, and soccer and all sports are going to come back in full effect, and we'll get to enjoy what we love. If anything, takeaway for me before I say one last thing, I'll turn over to Raul, is just that I hope that all this, when we lose stuff, it makes you appreciate it more. And so all of you sports fans out there, I know are probably bored out of your mind, or just, I want my sports back, I want soccer back. Hey, when it does come back, don't take it for granted. Enjoy it. Go support your team. Go out to the stadiums. Go cheer them on, because you don't know when stuff's going to vanish like that. Any final thoughts before I wrap it up here?
I mean, it's like what he said. I mean, obviously, a lot of us are bored because there's like no sports within soccer, hockey, golf, basketball, everything. Everything is canceled, so it sucks.
XFL.
And for me,
shout out Roughnecks.
And for me, I went to a game on a Wednesday, and that was the last game that I think this is gonna have fans in.
Yeah.
And it's same for MLS, New York City FC. They're not gonna have fans in their game. So if you have a chance and you can go see them, whether it's an away game or if it's a home game, go watch it, because you never know, something like this could pop off, and next thing you know, nobody's allowed in the stadium. There's no soccer for a month. So, I mean, go out and enjoy it. And if you're watching this or you're going to watch it on playback, we do this every year. We're going to have a crawfish boil next year. We do this every year. We bring out people. Hopefully there's no virus next year. But we do this every year. We basically invite people out to them socialize, talk about soccer, enjoy it. Just come out and enjoy the vibes with us. And basically just appreciate the soccer that we have that's left right now. Even if you're not a big fan of Liga MX, watch it, because it's entertaining, because whoever wins and loses today is going to mess up the whole table. So and wash your hands.
Yeah, wash your hands. if you're quarantined right now in the Houston area, come out and be in quarantine with us.
Yeah.
We got plenty of cold beer, good drinks, lots of crawfish. Raul's about to be the master of that, start firing, boiling those up. If you come out with us, I know we got a lot of friends who are going to be out here in the next couple hours. Come get you that Tech Soccer Live koozie. And, come hang out with us, have a good time. Once again, if you're just joining us at the very end, to close things out, Raul here is going to play, once again, for the first time ever. Well, second time, let's start the show. Second time ever, our original song, Texas Soccer Live. No more do we have to be blocked by Facebook or YouTube for copyright, because this song is ours. Shout out to the boys over at the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, HSPVA. Ian, Matthias, Marwan, Matthew, Gio, who helped put this together. They created our own special theme song. So let's play that song. And with that, as always, I'm Sean Telez. He's Raul Villarreal. Tech Soccer Live. Come join us. Let's party. The hell's happening? Why does it keep playing?
What the hell?